Welcome, everyone, to the L7C Podcast Wrestling Edition. We are back with another big wrestling update, giving some updates on what's been going on in the world of wrestling and our thoughts since the last time we were on. The last time we had a wrestling podcast was right after Wrestlemania and the WWE UFC merger that's going to be coming down still. That needs to be official. So we got the wrestling expert with us, Mr. Jacob Mason. How are you doing today, sir?
Yeah, I'm good, buddy. I'm good. Glad to be back. Happy to be doing this. I'm ready to roll.
All right, man. Let's roll right into it. So, one of the biggest things that we talked about the last podcast was who potentially is going to beat Roman Reigns for his titles. And WWE had a whole different idea to none of our knowledge until it happened. They created a new title, Jacob. It went with the draft. They said wherever Roman Reigns is going, he's taking the titles he has. And the other brand is going to have a new World Heavyweight Championship. How did you feel about them making another title?
I When they first announced it, I'm like, this is dumb.
Mhm.
This is where they book themselves into a corner, and to get themselves out of that corner because they have failed every other option so far. Fuck it, we're making a new title. So there's now three official main titles. I guess it's two, but it's really three.
Because the two that Roman holds, they're separate titles. They haven't even combined that into one belt.
Right. I don't know. It's it's some hokey bullshit, in my opinion.
Mhm.
I mean, we were all pissed off, when it came to WrestleMania, and they didn't have to go on and do this dumb shit. But here we are. So, fuck whatever, man. It's fucking WWE.
It's really weird, isn't it? Because we were all really just on like who's gonna beat this guy, and people that we started naming either have already lost or I mean one of the biggest ones was Seth, and that's looking like that's not gonna happen because he's in this tournament. He's gonna be in the finals because they had two triple threat matches on Raw. There's gonna be two on SmackDown, and the winners of those triple threat wrestle in the main event. And then whoever wins those, the one on Raw, Raw on SmackDown, they are going to wrestle at Saudi Arabia at Night of Champions. But wouldn't they already haven't they already booked themselves in a corner? Like we know the Raw person's gonna win because why would the SmackDown person win if Roman's on SmackDown?
I I've thought about that, but I'm like at the same time, I'm like, would WWE do this dumb shit? I mean, Vince is back.
Yeah, yeah.
They'll just become like, no, I'm just gonna be a free agent, guys, gonna be bought back and forth. Like I can see them doing some dumb shit like that, but it has to be a Raw person. And then, like you were talking about, Seth is on Raw because we just had the draft, but Seth is on Raw, correct?
Yes, he is on Raw. The main event was so the triple threat, it was Seth, Nakamura, and Damian Priest. Seth won that one. And then Finn, The Miz, and this one really was the one that really pissed people off. We'll go into more of that in the draft. Cody Rhodes was in that, and Finn won that one, and then Seth beat Finn, so he's on the championship side. And then on SmackDown, you have AJ Styles, Edge, and Rey Mysterio, which that's a crazy triple threat. And then Austin Theory, Bobby Lashley, Sheamus, and then whoever wins that will play each other.
All right. So I hate to beat a dead fucking horse here, but we now have to ask the question yet again: who the fuck beats Roman? Who
Yeah.
who beats Roman? Who do you sell at this point in the game that can be like, yep, it's this guy versus Roman? Like, oh shit. Like, who?
And there was times too where there's interviews that we've shared that Seth was talking shit about Roman about like him not coming, doing stuff, all this stuff, and then Roman saying people wish they had his schedule, yada yada yada. And stuff's like no. And when he gave that speech in Chicago about part timers, all that stuff, and like this shit needs to be someone here, I'm like, All right. Well, we know now you're not gonna wrestle Roman because we are 99.9% sure that you are winning this title in Saudi Arabia. And he has to hold the title for a bit to make it mean something.
Right? Yeah. Whoever gets that title, they have to hold it. They have to make it legit.
So
So Seth is. I feel like Seth is the right person considering all he has carried Raw for years now.
yeah, I 100% agree. I believe I only leaned Finn if they were really gonna make the Judgment Day like Evolution. Everyone has the titles or like the new bloodline,
Right.
but they didn't go that route, which is fine. But I agree with you, man. This would be one I would put a hefty amount of money on that. There's no way Seth Rollins is not going to win.
I mean, because at this point, I really don't care for Cody to win.
Well, he's out, which
Oh yeah,
because yeah, which that was what really pissed people off. Just jumping to the draft before jumping back to this, Roman was the number one pick on SmackDown. Cody was the number one pick on Raw. Instantly pissed people off because it's like you told us the story's not done, but if they're on separate brands, it's over.
yeah. That chapter is closed. Cody's just going to continue on doing his thing like everyone else there. So fuck that story.
But then now what? But now with that, like I think we're gonna say this a lot today. Booking yourself in a corner, you people, Bubba Dudley, he was one of them saying like, "Oh, Cody's gonna go through his hard times." People like, "Oh no, he shouldn't have. He never should have won it the first try." Even though everyone gave examples of people doing it, he's gonna get a rematch. Now, him on Raw, Seth's about to win this title. Cody's gonna be doing this stuff with Brock for excellent. I don't know how long. The only way Cody gets back to Roman is if he wins Money in the Bank, which I do not think he should win now, or if he wins the Royal Rumble next year, and then you're going to have people turn on Cody because they're going to want someone else to win the Rumble next year.
Yeah.
And you can't just randomly make Cody because they had free. I don't know why they just didn't make him a free agent where he can go wherever he wants.
Right.
Because what do you do? Like, I don't see the path of without him winning. Because Cody would do a babyface thing. He'd win Money in the Bank, tell Roman Reigns he's cashing in on him on this day. Doesn't guarantee, and then if he loses that, it's over, and then that really is going to cause hell. But you can't have them running back a WrestleMania 40.
I don't want. Yeah. I don't care for it. They had their moment. Don't get me wrong. They could have a great match again, and it
Oh
could
yeah,
be it can be this, that, and the other. But like at the end of the day, like I just feel like WWE screwed the pooch. It'd be like Daniel Bryan not winning the title at 30.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
And God damn it, I can't believe I'm going to say this. I know I'm going to catch some shit for it. Do you think, and I'm not hoping this happens, I really don't hope this happens, but
mm-hmm.
do you think if Roman keeps the title, because I don't see Roman losing it, but if Roman has the title till WrestleMania of next year, is he going to face fucking Rock?
My thing with Rock. I think I said it last time. I don't understand why he would go to Philadelphia and not his backyard of Hollywood. That's my own. That doesn't make sense to me.
With you. I get that. But like, who the else could they fucking do that's like, oh man, let's main event night one of or night two of WrestleMania? Like, who the fuck? I just don't give a fuck.
Because he
I'm more intrigued by the title that just got announced than I am the Roman shit. Just because it's just like, okay, well, Roman Reigns, same shit, different day.
Probably because even with Seth, well, we're saying this and we'll review it when it comes up, but we're saying Seth's gonna win. We know if Seth wins, he's not one of those people who's gonna. He could lose that title at any time. It's not like Roman where it's like it has to be a big pay per view to even have a slight chance, and until we see it, we don't believe it. Seth, he could lose that shit on a random ass Monday.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. Like Roman, it's funny too because Roman has not been. He comes back this Friday, a day of recording. We're recording on the 9th, so he comes back this Friday. He's not been back since WrestleMania. He's been gone this whole month.
God damn.
Well, the whole month of April. So, and he's supposed to have a match at Night of Champions, allegedly, but it's like against who?
Bad. I mean, aren't they talking Bad Bunny possibly?
Potentially, but it's like, why would you have, but then you're like, why would you have Roman wrestle on Night of Champions if you want the main focus to be that new championship? Because if Roman wrestles at Night of Champions, he's going to be the main event, not the new title.
That's a great point. That's a wonderful point because that title needs to be the main focus.
Mm-hmm.
If Roman's there, then Roman needs to be act number one and not the final act.
And it's funny too, because when Triple H unveiled that title, he was basically saying our stuff, but more politically correct. He's like, we got to talk about Roman Reigns. He's had these titles, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, yes, you guys have booked yourselves in a corner. There have been many opportunities. I would say the past 3 chances with like the Drew match in England, like Sammy's in Montreal, obviously Cody at WrestleMania. Those have been like legit chances. And those are all gone. And they're never getting those moments back. And we've been talking about Dwayne for like once he didn't show up, but he didn't even show up at Hollywood and he tweeted after night 1. Like, dude, what?
Yeah. I don't care to see Rock at this point. I don't want it. I'm not.
Well, you know he's going to lose.
Like I did for 2 years. I'm not doing that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just, man, fuck Rock. And fuck these booking decisions.
I mean, he messed it up, man. He really did. They would have just done this stupid match in Hollywood. Then we could have been really like, all right, this title rate's coming in. But he's going to hit 1,000 days at the end of this month. He's potentially going to break Hulk Hogan's record of whatever 1,400 days, and for him to hold those titles till WrestleMania 40, that's crazy. Because that'd be four or 5 straight WrestleManias where he's coming in as the champion.
Yep.
And then I think he would break or tie the record with Hulk. No, he'd break the record for most main events in WrestleMania history, which is wild to think that he would have the most main events in WrestleMania history.
I mean, but you called that years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You said it. He's on the main event.
8 straight.
Yeah.
The only reason it got stopped was because of COVID and him having cancer, but he's main evented like 8 like WrestleManias if you take those 2 years out. The last main event, WrestleMania, he didn't main event like when he was fully healthy was the Daniel Bryan year. They had no choice but to make that the Daniel Bryan, him wrestle Triple H at the first match and then be in the triple threat at the end. They had no choice but to make that the main event.
Right?
Like, just think about that WrestleMania 30. Like, that was the main event, but you couldn't. Undertaker's streak was broken. Like, that could have been the. Like, can you imagine that? That could have. In my head, I'm like, the streak broke? Maybe that. But then you can't take away that Daniel Bryan moment. That had to end the show.
Yeah. Yeah, it was hard to see because, like, I remember during that WrestleMania 30, I remember being like, yeah, it's awesome Daniel Bryan one, but holy shit, Taker's streak.
Yep. That's
like,
what I mean.
I didn't even care about. Then, like, you learn to appreciate it more years later. You're like, God, that match with Daniel Bryan was sick.
Yeah, man. It was wild. So again, we're gonna come back in a couple weeks, review Night of Champions, and be like, all right, who's up next? Like, that's just where we're at. So who do you think Seth is going to wrestle there? It could either what the hell is this thing at? It could either be AJ Styles, Edge, Rey Mysterio, Austin Theory, Bobby, or Sheamus.
I feel like it should be Edge.
Okay.
Or AJ.
Yeah, AJ just coming back from injury.
I mean, but Bobby Lashley's Mr. Consistent, so I can see that too. Same with Sheamus. I mean, like literally anyone except for I don't care about Austin Theory. I don't care about Rey Mysterio. No disrespect to Rey Mysterio, but like, I would like to see Edge.
Do you think they messed up Austin Theory? No, because you're not the only one who doesn't care. This dude just beat one of the greatest of all time at WrestleMania, and we still don't care about him as much as we should.
Yeah, but that match was trash.
It was trash, but it's like you pin John Cena. Like it's weird. Like you pin John Cena, but there's nothing's going for you right now. Like this title reign of yours is just
Yeah, it's just a character. It's
Yeah.
not that he's like a bad wrestler. It's just a
Hmm.
character. I can't get behind it. I can't. It's not. I get he's a heel, but like I can't really boo for him. But I'm
Hmm.
not going to cheer for him. He's just kind of in purgatory. It's very blah. It's very empty.
That's a good statement. So Jacob, they also had the WWE draft, and I don't get this weird stuff. Like why would you have be like for example Bianca and Rhea? Why would you have them wrestle for their different titles and then go to separate brands? Like obviously, like Rhea beat Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's Championship, but she got drafted to Raw. Bianca retained the Raw Championship at WrestleMania, but got drafted to SmackDown. Why did they? That doesn't make sense. Like, why did they do this again?
The only thing I can figure is they want Judgment Day with Judgment Day,
Mm-hmm.
and they want Bianca with Street Profits.
Fair enough.
That's the only thing I can think of. But then at the same time, it's like, well, then leave fucking, then flip flop Judgment Day and Street Profits.
But if Bianca was gonna go to SmackDown and Rhea, wow, wouldn't it have just been? I guess I know she had to exercise her demons of beating Charlotte, make herself a star, but logically, wouldn't it have just made more sense for Rhea to beat Bianca and then take the Raw Women's title off her at WrestleMania? Then Bianca goes to SmackDown. Then you could officially start the full chase of her versus Charlotte.
Yeah, that would have been great. That would have eliminated a lot of the dumb shit here.
And then you also had NXT champs get drafted when they just won the titles. Like Indy, she got drafted. She barely had a title defense, and she had to relinquish the title.
Exactly.
I don't know. Those were some of those moves on the draft that I was shocked at. I think, and I know me and you and Byron talked about beginning of that draft. It looked like like the women's division on Raw was looking absolutely terrible.
Right.
And I know like you're telling me like you're giving SmackDown like Charlotte, Bianca, Asuka. Like I know we were going through those names, and we are just like, so who is? And you gave them damage. We're like, so who's Raw gonna have? Like this is. I saw a scene yesterday where Dana Brink tried to come out and give a kid a high five, and the kid pulled his hand back. He's like, I don't know you. Like you have been on TV for months. I feel bad. Like what do we? I don't know, man.
And
That's
then
it's.
what I didn't understand was like at the very end of the draft,
Mhm.
we had Raw just drafting like 37 people randomly.
Yeah.
Like I remember I'm like I was at work and I'm just like, well, y'all catching the highlights, of what's getting posted, who's drafting who, and at the end it's like, and Raw drafts Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae, a shitload of other people I ain't talked about in a minute. I'm just like, who that? This doesn't add up, but okay. Like, can we just have like the last like two draft picks be like, hey, we're taking these 10 people and we're taking these 10 people? I don't understand it. The draft is so fucky because it's so. Yeah, you get the bloodline, the first draft pick. So you're getting Roman Solo and Paul Heyman. All right, so you're getting two wrestlers and a manager. So shouldn't Raw's first pick be two people and a manager?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, we're taking a tag team. Okay, well then we're taking a tag team, or some shit like that. I guess I don't know.
Like SmackDown in one round took Bailey, Dakota Kai, Io Sky, Damage Control. Then their next picks were the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions of Alba Fire and Elsa Dawn. I'm like, what? How are you getting all of these women?
Fucking Vince logic, man, it's back.
That that's the only real explanation on that. I can't even can't lie. But Jacob, WWE had a pay per view event, Backlash in Puerto Rico, and people are the crowd's being called one of the most memorable WWE like shows crowds ever. What did you think when you saw that crowd?
Crowd was hype. Crowd was fucking hype. I mean, those you could tell those people were happy to have a WWE
Yes.
event, let alone like an actual pay per view. Uh, and dude, some of these foreign crowds are hype.
Mm-hmm.
Canada, England, Puerto Rico. I mean, if WWE like goes somewhere else, I'm just like, oh man, that sucks. But at the same time, it's like, dude, these crowds are freaking lit.
Yeah, man. Like even that first match where it was Bianca and Io, and Bianca had her first moment. The crowd was not for her. The crowd wanted Io to win.
Yeah.
She finally had the crowd turned against her because it's like, congratulations to her, also longest reigning Raw Women's Champ of all time right now, which is kind of crazy to say out loud that it's not held by a 4 horsewoman anymore, but that's wild. But the crowd's like, all right, you've held this for over a year. It's time. And they wanted Io because people forgot how good Io is individually.
So good. NXT Women's Champion, yeah, she's good.
What'd you think of the crowd turning on Bianca, like, and how she dealt with it her first time being turned on?
I mean, like you said, I think it was inevitable. Eventually, the crowd naturally, it's just a progression. Heels become faces, faces become heels. It's a natural progression. It is what it is. I like it though. I like it, and you have this whole entire crowd behind it. Fuck it, sign me up.
I agree.
Even if I'm not for it, even if I'm like, dude, why are they booing her? At the same time, if you have that big of a crowd reaction, hell yeah, let it ride.
No, I am 100% agree. And they both put on a freaking show in that match. And then another thing with the crowd, Selena Vega versus Rhea Ripley. Like, this was Selena Vega's biggest match of her life. Obviously, Rhea Ripley's the champ. I didn't think Rhea Ripley was going to lose, but that crowd was behind Zelina, and on Busted Open with Dudley, Henry, and all them, they talked about a moment where, like, can you imagine if Vega did win that title and then they had a scene where, like, she visited her dad's grave at the 9/11 memorial, dropped the title off, and left? That would have been crazy.
Oh shit.
And then when they said that out loud, I'm like, God damn, Selena should have won.
Yeah, yeah, I want that story now. Shit.
Because I don't think she's gonna. And she's won Queen of the Ring. She's a good personality and all that stuff. But I don't think she's getting a title match anytime soon for probably the next 5 or something years. If she might not get one ever again.
Yeah, I don't see it happening unless the crowd just gets insanely massively behind her.
Like Kofi. That's the only reason Kofi, like the Kofi situation, that would never happen again.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what you need. You need a Kofi mania for these people. But I mean we've seen it with Liv.
That is true. That's true.
So I mean I don't see why we can't see it with Selena. She theoretically if she does win, is she going to be a dominant long-term champion? No. She's going to be a placeholder champion. Nothing wrong with that. She's going to be a workhorse champion. I like it. Let it ride. I'd be happy with that. And we all like, the freshness. We all loved it when Liv won.
Yep.
We're like, oh man, this is different. This is cool.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
You're right with that. It's just when they said that thing, I was like, gosh, man, if she would have won in her hometown in front of all of her family and then went to her dad's grave, like on a Raw, whatever they were in, that would have been too. Ooh, man. But Rhea retains. Rhea, I feel like, is going to be a champ for a good time, but Rhea left the ring first, so Selena did get a standing ovation again at the end of the match, so that was really cool. And then, man, Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest. The Bad Bunny entrance, that crowd, that is what wrestling's about, man. That's what it's about. When you have 17 X amount thousand people singing word for word for your like that was chilling, man.
That was hype. It was hype.
And then with Damian Priest, I think what people need to understand that like they said, and it's the truth. Bad Bunny's the most streamed artist in the world right now. The dude went from headlining Coachella both days in a row, 1 week, headlining the Met Gala, and then literally coming to Backlash the week after. So if they trust you enough to lead the match and not get the, because we talked about with The Rock, I think, a couple times that these people's agents, they don't want their people getting hurt in these because it ruins all their stuff. And the number one artist in the world, and you're like, Damian Priest, we trust Damian Priest to do it. Damian's a made man now, man.
As he should be. I mean, fucking Judgment Day should be way bigger than what they are.
Yeah.
I mean, you have Finn, you have Damian, you have Rhea, you have Dom, who's such a good heater.
Yes, he is. He is a heat magnet. Those boos on that Raw, I haven't seen anything like that in a while.
Like, they do not get the credit they deserve. Like, they really are. They really could take that shit over.
They should. I think they should. I think they should take over Raw. Then you sell Bloodline, whatever, doing the stuff in SmackDown. That should be the next feud, because the fact that and again, he is the biggest artist in the world right now. And the bumps he was taking, he really loves this shit.
Dude, he's such a fan at heart. And that's the one we talk about celebrity wrestlers, I feel, more frequently over the past like 4 years and possibly ever. But like all this new generation of like celebrity wrestlers, they have to be like a fan.
Yeah.
Have to be, because I mean they're putting on the best matches and it makes no sense.
Yep. I agree. Like, that match was crazy, man. And LWO, all the weapons, and from start to finish, it was amazing. I've watched that entrance probably like 10 times, just seeing the crowd. I'm like, I haven't seen that. We're going to go to AEW in a little bit, but that's the type of thing I wanted if the media scrum didn't happen, where when MJF takes the belt off Punk. That's the type of shit I wanted. But never get to that. And then you had Riddle, Kevin, and Sammy versus the Bloodline. I was confused why the Bloodline won this. I know it showed Sikoa potentially about to Samoan Spike his brother and more cracks, but I'm surprised they lost. I mean, I'm surprised the Bloodline won.
They could have told that story without them winning. Mm-hmm. They could have told that story, honestly, probably better with them losing. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense to me. But so that was a match, but I really didn't care. Like, it's not that I didn't care for the match, but I didn't care for the match, if that makes sense. Because like, even whoever wins, but whoever loses also wins but loses. Like, I just didn't give a fuck.
It's hard too, because I understand why they make Bad Bunny's match should have been the main event. It was in the middle. Yeah. Just because, like, how do you go that? Because no disrespect to these people involved, you weren't going to get that crowd right back up.
Right.
But it makes no sense. I guess Solo's officially Roman's right-hand man. The Usos not having the titles are potentially going to get kicked off the island of Revency. But they're slow burning that, which sooner or later Solo's going to turn on his siblings, and then we don't know what happens from there. Then you had Cody versus Brock. This match was super important because I was nervous, because I really thought Brock was going to win. Like, I'm sitting here, I was like, if Brock wins, this truly all goes to shit.
Yeah. But the problem with this entire match was, I guess if Brock wins, then, Cody's story was for nothing. But at the same time, it's kind of like, it really doesn't fucking matter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if Brock wins, Brock's still Brock. If Brock loses, Brock is still Brock. Yeah. If Cody wins, he's still on Raw, and he's not going to be anywhere near Roman Reigns. Mm-hmm. And if Cody loses, he's also on Raw, and he lost to Brock Lesnar, and he's still nowhere near Roman Reigns.
That's a good point. And Cody won, and I didn't like the way because it reminded me of how Liv beat Ronda, how Ronda had Liv in her armbar, just like Brock had Cody in the Kimura. And then before they tapped, they rolled him over. So you had the story like, he didn't roll him over, he was going to tap. And then Brock wants Cody at Night of Champions. So you have that match. And Night of Champions so far, I mean, you have a Cody versus Brock rematch and the World Heavyweight title crowning and potentially Roman. They're getting a quasi WrestleMania over there.
I mean, yeah, think that the last time we had Blood Money, I mean, they actually promoted it really well, and like all of us watched it for like the first time.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one.
Like any other time, they've done it what 3-4 years now. They've done Saudi matches, and all of us are like, oh yeah, hey, there's the Blood Money pay-per-view. We ain't talking shit about it. And then like the last year, like, dude, Blood Money's coming up. We have to watch this shit.
I know it was weird because like usually with that, it's usually like at 2 o'clock or something on a Saturday. Now it used to be weird. They used to have them like on Thursdays because of whatever. But
Hey,
like,
yeah,
we're just like, we'll just wait for one of us to scroll on social media. Someone's gonna post the results, then share. I'm like, cool, someone won. Never. That
hey,
last one, we are like, oh, we need to actually watch.
I forgot they were on like random ass Thursdays.
Yeah, like I would be. There was one I was at work, and I was just like,
Yeah,
oh, someone just lost. Holy shit!
yeah, I remember that because I was also at work and I'm just like, oh, I guess I'll put it on in the background while I'm getting scrubs ready for a sale. Oh yeah, that was shit. I remember that.
Like it was weird, but we'll see what the rest of the card unfolds there. But that is coming up. Night of Champions, end of the month, where every title should be on the line. Which I'm confused how the tag team titles will be on the line because Sami Zayn is not allowed in that country. So how is the tag titles going to be on the line?
That's a wonderful question.
I'm so confused.
Sammy can't go. Kevin refuses to go, which I don't blame him. But yeah, I don't know
If
how
you
that.
strip them, it's gonna be hell.
I wonder if they'll take one of the sets. If
Uh,
they'll take like the Blues and be like, "Hey, SmackDown, you're now having your tag team titles."
if
Which
they
then
do,
I would throw a fit if I was Sammy and Kevin.
mm-hmm. Yeah, that's bullshit. But funny fact too, with these pay-per-views, Brock Lesnar has been on more premier live events. He's been on every one of 2023, which is more than Roman Reigns. Just think about what we just said. Brock Lesnar has been on more pay-per-views than Roman Reigns. I don't think I would ever have thought I would have been able to say that during Roman's big dog era, and now that's just crazy.
Dude, that's funny. The ultimate part timer who we've always criticized about being a
Yes.
part timer is now being more full time than the full time timer.
Yeah. Isn't that wild?
This is very Vince logic at its finest right here.
There was times you would see Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania. That's it. Like I can't believe it. That's a crazy stat. Brock Lesnar are more pay-per-views right now in May than Roman Reigns.
That's hilarious.
Jeez.
I never really thought about that, but yeah, wow.
Um so that day that Triple H was unveiling the title, it was in Chicago. And before that show started, news I never thought I would hear was happening. Our good L7C friend, Phil Brooks, aka CM Punk, was backstage at Monday Night Raw in Chicago. Jacob, I know we all were like, is this real? Is this real? Then we saw pictures, we're like, what the fuck is going on? This is real. What were your initial thoughts seeing Punk at a Raw backstage where he has not been in a decade plus?
Dude, I laughed. I straight up just started laughing Because I like like everyone else, we started seeing the reports, like, yeah, what full of shit, whatever. Let me see the pictures. I'm like, this is the most CM Punk shit I have possibly ever seen. The dude is at fucking WWE. The hell for CM Punk. The company that fired him on his wedding day shows up backstage and that gets kicked out by Vince.
Yeah, security asking him to leave. It was reported that he was at backstage for quite a bit before Raw. He went to note that Punk briefly saw Triple H the first time they've seen each other since 2014. He also met with some talent and then also was asked to leave. Apparently, he cleared the air with Miz, but you're clearing the air with Miz when we all know you're about to go back to AEW because we're going to talk about Wimbly, but you're going to go back to AEW and you haven't even talked to the Elite yet, and it's so bad that they're going to split the roster because of you?
Yeah, fucking CM Punk.
What do you do in that? Like, I don't know if I'm a promoter, man. Like, we have to split the roster because of one guy. I don't know how I don't think I could do that.
I don't think Punk's worth it. Punk 2 years ago, worth it.
Yeah.
Punk 2023, nowhere near worth it.
Yeah.
Not worth it. His stock is not plummeted. Like, it is, in my opinion, his stock is worth fucking zero.
And it's not even like the people who don't want to work with him are just normal wrestlers. The people who don't want to work with him are your damn EVPs.
Yeah. In the whole fucking locker room.
Oh no! Besides FTR, because they had that podcast. I'll go, oh, everyone wants Punk back. It's like, it's not what people are saying. And then once it became reported that
man, fuck that guy.
And then once it became reported that Punk is probably coming back, they stopped their podcast. They're like, our job is done. But man, to split I don't know. But then after that, then he was randomly at Impact.
Yeah. Fucking dude's making his rounds all over the wrestling world except for the company he still somehow works for.
You think it's a redemption tour? He's trying to redeem men fences before going back? Even though he should probably mend fences with the people he's about to work with first, but
I don't know, because both WWE and Impact were in Chicago. So I think it was just oh, hey, these wrestlers are in my backyard. Fuck it, I'll go see them.
When's the next time AEW's in Chicago?
Isn't it soon?
I believe.
Or am I wrong here?
Let's find out. It's funny how you can just type a wrestling promotion in and put Chicago. Oh, it was supposed to be June 21st, Chicago, Illinois.
All right. And when's Wembley?
Wembley is in August 27th.
And there you go. You can do it. I wouldn't recommend it, but Tony Khan's going to do it.
Well, since we're here, that's the real reason that they're going to bring Punk back, because they want to sell out Wembley. And is that currently right now is a May 5th? AEW said they've sold 60,000 tickets sold for All In. And it's fantastic. And Tony Khan saying with the 60,000 tickets, they've made 7.7 million. Great seats available on August 27th. I don't think they're going to sell the full 90,000. 60,000 is still a great accomplishment, but we don't know what the hell the main event's about to be there.
That's a crazy thing. Like, there's no matches announced for it. And 60,000 seats out of a 90,000 seat arena, you've already sold. So, yeah, I think they could sell it out.
How much is it
with the right promotion?
Yeah.
The right people coming in, because if I'm Tony Khan, I'm trying to get some I'm trying to get Patty the Batty. I'm trying to get famous fucking English people. I want it to be an event. Like, you have to be there. I want people in the crowd. I want cameras on these people. I want hey, I'm going to be there, get your tickets, shit like that. I think they could sell it. It's got 30,000 more seats.
Main event's probably gonna be. Is it really gonna be MJF versus Punk? How's that? That's gonna piss some people off in the back that they've been working their ass off and.
Well, isn't it going to be one of the pillars? They've been doing all that shit.
But I mean, unless the pillar, yeah, they have a match at Double or that's the only match actually announced for Double or Nothing so far. That is also Sunday, 28th. So the L7C has a Night of Champions on the 27th and Double or Nothing on the 28th.
You know what? No, it's great for this. I'll just tell you right now. For the past 3 years, I have had to go to weddings during wrestling pay-per-views. It has not failed me that I've watched the past two AEW All-In pay-per-views while sitting at a reception table.
I will be doing that this year at SummerSlam. I have a wedding to go to the first week of August, which is SummerSlam, which I was kind of, I mean, he's a close friend, known him since we were kids, but I was kind of salty because SummerSlam is literally up in Detroit, and I was like, oh, this is one where you can get the gang and try and go. But I know, man, these summer weddings, when you're a wrestling fan, they hurt.
I mean, next time my wife's on, you can ask her how many times we've been sitting at a reception table. She's like, put your phone down. You can't be watching an all-out pay-per-view. I'm like, I'm here. I'm fine. I'm not bothering anybody.
That's true. That is true. Especially if you don't have a part in the wedding, too. That's.
Oh, 100%. I have no part in the wedding. Yeah, I'm going to sit here, drink beer, and watch wrestling. Leave me alone.
So the only thing for Double or Nothing schedule right now is MJF versus Darby Allin versus Jungle Boy versus Sammy for the AEW World Championship in a Fatal 4-Way match. Ain't no way MJF loses that, right?
Can't lose it.
Yeah.
No way.
So I don't see. So with those pillars, I feel like they're all gonna. There's a hoorah before, like, all right, we're putting you in this Fatal 4-Way before Punk comes back in a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's hey, we're going to showcase our still younger talent before we bring back old salty veterans.
It's gonna be wild, but also with Wimbly, is AEW gonna have Drew McIntyre because he is still not re-signed that contract, and his contract ends in July.
See, I heard his contract ends in January before
Rumble. Oh, so January of next year?
Yeah. I've seen two different reports, so I don't know which one's which.
I've
seen he's open to going to different places. Take that with a grain of salt because it's all wrestling rumors, and we've all seen how that works out.
Yeah, and I've seen the rumor too where, well, he lost. It's funny because I just exited out of that. That I know he's gone. I know he's gone because Drew McIntyre wasn't even considered a name for the triple threat, like for these matches for the world title.
Damn, you're right. Fuck.
Yeah, he's gone, man.
Bro, I mean, poor guy. I mean, I said it a long time ago. Right guy, wrong time. Fuck.
Like when he got drafted, I'm like, why? His contract's not resolved. He's leaving. And I think he's going to be a big addition. Like he's going to make his debut in Wimbly if that's the right timing, or next year AEW. Because it's like, I get it, man. You carried it during the hardest time of the history of our lives of the pandemic, and you carry the shit for 2 years, and then Roman comes and Bloodline, and you just become an afterthought, and you're not even getting title shots. You got the one in your hometown and lost, and since then they just made you obscure. And like, I get it, man.
Part of the Intercontinental.
Yeah, he was.
I'll give him that. He's been. It's not like he's put on shitty matches either. He's been doing great, whatever you give him. But I understand the frustration for Drew, and I also see the booking decisions on WWE's part to an extent.
Once they messed it all up, that Brock Roman main event, and WrestleMania. Once it was title for title, it was over for most of the roster.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get why I don't know why they haven't learned from that mistake. When they do that, it fails.
Yep.
But yeah, he hasn't signed, man. Like that's bad. Like that is. I'm looking at this picture and I'm like, Drew's gonna be gone, and that's gonna be a super fumble.
Big time.
And
So
Tony will be on that quick.
as he should be. But then at the same time, holy fuck, A Dubs. Holy fuck. Every week.
Yeah.
Every fucking week, it's oh man, so and so commanders all elite. Like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
I mean, what's Jay White doing?
With fucking Miro. Or do something with fucking
They just got Jay
anybody.
White.
Yeah, you got Jay White. And I'm just like, oh yeah, hey, Jay White's there.
It's weird because they'll sign someone, they'll be the shiny new toy, and then they're not anywhere to be found. Like, I don't know what you do with that. You got Combat Club and the Elite, they're doing their stuff. MJF's doing his stuff. You have Jamie Hayter, I feel like she has no title defenses. She's always just buddy with Britt Baker, and they're going against Ruby Riot's crew.
Yeah, Britt's got more steam behind her than Jamie Hayter does, and Jamie Hayter's the fucking champion.
Well, yeah, because that new reality show shows like her stuff with her and Adam, and it really shows that she really hates Thunder Rosa. like legit hate. Like that back, like I know we talked about it for almost 2 years. Like, is this real heat? Like, why is Thunder Rosa she was the one picked to end Britt's run. She did, and she got hurt, but she had the title. And like she said, it's Tony's the boss. If she's like, hey, you can't, like, we'll strip the title now and you're fully healthy, you can get back in the main title picture. Like, he's the one who kept it with her in the interim title. And everyone was mad at Thunder Rosa because Britt was like, well, if you're going to XY podcast, and why can't you come to work? I was like, oh my God, this is like real.
Right. Which Britt had a point. The girl was injured and she wasn't going to be back for a while, so relinquish the fucking title.
Mm-hmm. That's a Tony thing.
It's all fucked.
He's the boss, and I'm like, damn. It's literally wrestling is literally everything you can imagine, and wrestling is politics. Wrestling is high school. Wrestling is like jocks, fraternities. It's all of that. So now you're gonna have the head honcho woman of your team hate you, that's gonna trickle down, which it has, to other ladies hating you. So when you come back to the locker room, you're gonna be like, what the fuck? It's just how it is, man. Like, wrestling is all like, when you understand wrestling, it just makes understanding anything else so much easier.
I mean, yeah. Yeah.
It's like, huh?
Can't argue that logic.
Something happened. All right, who's the booker? Why'd they book you like that? Like, it's super easy. I don't know, man. I feel like when Punk comes back, we're all going to be sitting on this pod and we're just going to be like, here we go again. And I feel like he's going to win the title. That's my biggest fear.
Jesus Christ, he should not win the fucking title.
He should not, but will he? Wouldn't Tony want a big pop? Punk winning the title, Wimbly, 90,000 people. Redemption story.
Oof. Nah, fuck that shit.
He does that. He kills MJF for good. Not for good, but it ain't going to be the same.
If he does that, then I feel like there is no doubt in my mind MJF goes to WWE in 24.
Ooh.
I feel like the bidding war of 2024 is over at that point.
Hey, speaking of that, we're almost halfway there.
You're right.
When we get to winter and fall, like when we get to fall and winter, it's real. Like once it's December 31st, And with this new merger, we don't know how that's going to play out.
Right? And we're going to be talking about Royal Rumble, and like it's going to be like the hell's our girl's name that we talked about every fucking week?
Oh my gosh. Tessa Blanchard.
Yeah. MJF's going to be like our Tessa Blanchard. Like, all right, what's going on with this report? We'll make a couple sentences about it. We'll move on. But every time we talk on the podcast, it'll get brought up.
God, Royal Rumble's going to be hell, especially if Meltzer and all them are saying he hasn't signed with AEW yet. Oh my God, that's going to be hell. And he's smart. He's going to milk it.
Yeah, if they're smart, they're going to try and keep it hush hush as much as you can and feed into all the bullshit. Oh, he hasn't signed. He hasn't done this. He hasn't done that, and everybody's going to be talking about it.
Man, and then going to Impact, they had a big signing. Trinity, aka Naomi, she signed with Impact, man.
That her heat with WWE is fucking real.
Which is weird. It's weird because her and Sasha, obviously they walked out together. Sasha is one of the greatest women wrestlers of all time. And they wanted, and Triple H, and that's one of Triple H's babies. He wanted to keep her, like all that stuff, her best friends there, yada yada. But we've said for years, Sasha was going to be the first 4 horsewoman to go. She's become way too mainstream. But Trinity, you're legitimately married into the bloodline. I don't understand how that happened.
I mean, I think we've all been there where you've been at a job and you feel extremely underappreciated.
Yeah.
You're not getting your value. You're not getting your say, but you're one of the hardest fucking workers there. And then when eventually you're like, you know what, fuck it, I'm done. Screw you guys, I'm going home. And you just have a pure hatred for said company.
Yeah.
Where it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happens. I mean, I've been there. I've been there with, I used to work in the restaurant industry. I've seen restaurants completely turn over their entire staff and me be like, nah, fuck them. I don't give a shit. Fuck them. I want nothing to do with this place. I want nothing to do with them. It had plenty of offers for, oh man, please come back. Yeah, I'm good, man.
Yeah. No,
I think that's it right there.
Yeah, and she's already talked about it. She talked about like she was stagnant for a bit, and then that day was the breaking point. She didn't get into full details of what was said, obviously, because like her husband still works there and doesn't want to get him to have the residual damage. But she's just like, I went to Impact, and now she's at Impact. Perfect timing. I mean, Mickie James had to leave because of injury, and now you have Trinity come in.
Perfect.
It's crazy. And it's wild.
She'll be a star in Impact. She has plenty of people to work with. Impact has a very good knockouts division.
Yes, they do.
It's going to work out great for everyone involved over there right
now. Yeah, yes.
So I'm happy for Trinity. Good for her. Stick to your guns and do your thing.
No, 100%. He's talked, and Mercedes, aka Sasha, still doing her thing in Japan, and it's weird where the women's division's at now. Like, obviously, Mercedes gone. Charlotte, she does the vacations, which is rightfully so. I mean, she can do whatever the hell she wants. It gets her off TV, all that stuff. Trinity's gone. Becky Lynch's contract expires in 2024. They have to re-sign her. Now you're looking at like the new era, which we've talked about for years, like the Cena Batista of this group, Bianca and Rhea. More specifically, Bianca. You've ran out of opponents. Except for each other and Charlotte. Charlotte's the only one left for Bianca. But like Rhea, you're looking at all these people are like, is anyone ever going to stand a chance against her to make us believe she's going to lose?
See, that's one of these situations where you really need to build up your different wrestlers. Mm-hmm. This is where you really want to fucking build up your Selena Vegas, your Liv Morgan, Alexa Blitzes. You want to build these people back up. Be like, fuck it. Rhea, let's say Rhea's out with injury. Rhea gets pissed and takes her ball and goes home. Any certain thing, that's fine. Next person up.
Yeah, that's a good point because we haven't. I mean, 2015 was the worst year I think I've seen of my wrestling life, where everything that could go wrong with injuries did go wrong. We haven't had a year like that in forever, but you're right. That could happen anytime. Rhea could get hurt at a live show and she has to relinquish the title. Who are you giving the title to on Raw?
and it's like Dolph Ziggler said it in a recent interview.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the guy to carry the title, but I'm the guy who's going to be the placeholder. Oh, hey, Cena got injured. Oh, hey,
Yep.
Roman got injured. Oh, hey, so and so. I'm that guy to hold it for 2 or 3 months. I'm that guy. I'm built for that.
And they're all important. That's the thing. Again, man, wrestling shows you every position in wrestling is important.
Yeah. But back to your point, if God something happens to Rhea, who do you give it to?
I truly
Uh,
don't know. I don't know.
where did Alexa get?
She just disappeared when she lost that match to Bianca. She just been off TV. I know she was dealing with some medical stuff, but she's been off TV since dealing with their medical issues. But it's like, is that what you do? You're like, oh, she comes back, give her the title, or
Where's Asuka?
Oscar went to SmackDown.
Asuka's on SmackDown. Mm, well,
Raw got Shayna and Ronda, and God knows when they're coming back on TV.
fuck Shayna's a perfect opportunity there.
Yeah, they would have to really work, really like make us remind us of NXT Shayna. But on never mind. If Rhea got hurt, they would just give it back to Becky.
Yeah, yeah, you do have that option. You fuck that. Give it to someone else.
They
Build a
should.
star.
No, I agree. I'm just saying that's what they would think. But you think Becky is potentially might leave next year? I'm not saying because she's going to ask for a lot of money. I don't know if WWE's going to pay that. She's probably going to ask for like record breaking women's money.
I think as she should.
But should she get paid more than Charlotte?
Yes.
Okay.
Without a shadow of a doubt. You want to know why? Becky shows up to fucking work more than like 2 weeks at a time.
Fair. Fair.
I mean, the only time Becky was gone was when she had a kid.
That's true.
And if I'm Becky, yeah, I'm asking for the bank. But it's going to be interesting to see how all these contracts work out with Endeavor.
Yes. It's a new sheriff doing these contracts. Like, whew. There's going to be people who are, it's an age old at this time. People are going to ask for money. Company's going to say no. You're playing hardball. And then you're going to have the Drew McIntyre situation. The contract expires, they just leave.
I feel like this works out in great favor for Ronda and Shayna, though, being ex MMA people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure there's going to be like a big bias there, but I feel like there's probably going to be a bias. It just makes sense.
I feel like they're going to have titles by the end of this year.
Tag titles?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I don't see why not. I mean, they won that terrible match at WrestleMania this year. I mean, they're going to get titles.
Have they really done anything since Mania?
No,
Like,
they
honestly,
haven't been on TV either. I forgot about them until the draft.
I
But
mean, yeah.
Jacob, anything else? I do have one thing to always go back to the Roman thing. I think there's one person who just came to my mind. Whenever he comes back, he may have a shot. I don't think he has, but he would be intriguing.
Hit me.
Bray,
Dude, yeah, what the fuck's happening with Bray?
he's still signed apparently. Like he's had some stuff too, but I
He
thought of
signed and
him.
they got a new writer, I heard.
Yeah, he got a new writer, which I'm like, okay, but he's the only fresh one.
Gunther? Or is he on Raw?
He's on Raw.
Fuck me. Yeah, Bray's the only person I could possibly think of, but even then, I don't see Bray getting it. And I don't want Bray to go straight for Roman if he's going to lose right off the rip. I don't want to see it because I don't care.
That's what the Cody fans were saying now. And now it's like you can't beat Roman until you take out everyone else on the bloodline.
Yeah, and I mean there is always the solo go after Roman, but at the same time, like I don't even fucking care about that.
Yeah.
I
It's
don't want to see it. I don't want to see another fucking Samoan with the titles for a minute. All right,
and
y'all are great. Y'all are phenomenal. You're the best.
they got
That being,
more coming.
you fucking stop it. I'm sick of seeing y'all.
It is so crazy how the Roman matches are now all everyone, even casual people, know how constructed they are. Like, oh, Roman looks like they're gonna lose. Oh, spiked by Solo. You have people having memes now of Roman winning triple threat matches against Goku and Thanos. Like Goku's coming in for the Kamehameha. Oh no, it's Solo. Somehow it's Spike Spear. 1, 2, 3. Like that is how comical this Roman booking has become now. He is in meme category against galaxy destroying people.
Yeah, and you can't fucking have that.
And it's bad too, because when I see it, I'm like, damn, I can actually see the match going like that. That's the problem. I think that's the problem where people are like, oh yeah, Roman wins. Vince booking, oh, that's over. Thanos ain't beating him with 6 minutes Finity Stones or not.
Not sweaty enough.
No. You hear the solo Samoan spike, game over. It's bad that he's in that power now.
Roman's signature move, man. Solo Samoan spike.
And then bounce off the again. Once he does the bounce off the spears, I know it's over. Off the ropes of the spear, I know it's over. No one kicks
Anymore.
out of that.
And
And
it sucks because it's just deflated. It's
mm-hmm.
just deflated every fucking wrestling fan there is. Just pulled the oxygen right out of our lungs. And if that's what you guys wanted to go for, then like mission accomplished. But like at this point, none of us just don't fucking care at this point. We're just like, oh yeah, Roman wins, whatever.
I also think just going back to Rock, really wrapping this up. I think I was calm on the Rock stuff until yesterday, where he announced he was going to be on the Pivot with Ryan Clark and those other guys, and it's a good podcast. But I'm just like, and he had the words, "Been planning this for a year," and I'm like, are you fucking kidding? You have been planning to go on this podcast for a year, but WWE has told you like this shit 5 years in advance for the Roman thing, and you did not show up. Really? Really?
Homie's busy. He's fucking busy. Got XFLs and Grammys and Oscars and all sorts of shit and podcasts.
But a podcast you've been planning for a year, but you couldn't. As this is for Byron, I know he's going to be editing this. Shout out to Byron. You couldn't come back to your own 25th anniversary at Survivor Series where they got Mountain Brock Lesnar to come out of his fucking mountain for his 20th, superstar John Cena to come for his 20th. I know the John Cena because John Cena loves the shit more than The Rock, but Brock Lesnar came for his 20th. Come on. And we're talking about planning for a podcast for a year when it is this company. You don't get on this podcast without your name from WWE. I think that's the thing that gets me on a personal level. Like, obviously, yeah, you worked hard for all this stuff, yada yada yada. You put in the work, but you do not have this stuff without your recognition from WWE in the 90s. And it's the
100.
cold hard truth. And you're just basically, fuck them. Like Cena said in the program, the doors closed on wrestling. He wouldn't care. Rock wouldn't care. And his daughter works. That's the other thing. That's what got me. When he didn't go to his daughter's debut match. That one pissed me off.
Right.
Like, bro, you're The Rock. You have a private jet. Come on, dude.
Fucking Rock, man. All these Samoan fucks.
I know. And now that's going to be the name that everyone keeps throwing out. Like, oh, Rock. I mean, he's for 2 years, whatever. But
Yeah.
well, who knows? We'll be back in 2 weeks. We got actually 2 or 3. Actually, we'll be back at the end of May, early June, because we have Night of Champions where we're gonna have a new champ crown, and we have AEW Double or Nothing back to back. So we're gonna be reviewing, talking about both, and seeing what the WWE has to start getting ready for SummerSlam, and AEW really has to start really getting ready for Wimbly. We got to start getting some matches announced.
Yep. Took a month off, and now it's back to work. Back to the grindstone.
Yeah, so we will be back at the end of the month, guys, reviewing those two major pay-per-views because they all have major implications. Jacob, do you have anything else?
No, I have nothing else.
All right.
Roman.
Oh, Roman. Oh, man. With that being said, thank you, everyone, for listening to the L7C podcast. Make sure you like, rate, comment, subscribe wherever you listen. Again, we'll be back at the end of the month. We got big pay-per-views. End of the month, probably Byron's going to want to get in on those, so he'll be back. And with that being said, L7C signing out. Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.